Your husband really played this?
Are you kidding? I absolutely thrashed him over Christmas.
Table Football Monthly. On the ball from Caston to Subbuteo. Table Football Monthly. Pick the team 'cause we're set up and we're good to go. Yeah, we're good to go. We're good to go. Hello, welcome to January 21's edition of Table Football Monthly. A year ago, in our January edition, we were full of hope and optimism for 2020, and COVID came along and trampled on all of us. And here we are, January a year later, and things are still the same. So I hope you're bearing up. It's hit us, as you'd expect. So there's no Smithy and there's no Danielle, although she will be appearing later via FaceTime. At least her fingers will. But nevertheless, we've put together a decent show for you today, which I hope you're going to enjoy. We're going to be looking at 2 atmospheric pitches, which are great fun. Our Blast from the Past is one of my favourite games behind Subbuteo, and that is a game called Soccercraft. It's an unbelievable game. I know you're going to enjoy it. It combines elements of Subbuteo, real football, and a board game. After that, we've had loads and loads of requests from many of you coming back to the game after years and years away, and that is to look at Subbuteo base types, how they compare to each other, what may suit your style of play, or how much space you've got, or whatever it may be. And then, hopefully, if I have time, at the very end, we'll look at some alternatives to full-size pitches, for those of you who've written in saying that you do struggle to find enough space. For full-size Subbuteo, one of the options. So loads to get through. And this is where I'd say let's join Danielle for last month's competition results, but I can't because she's not here. So this is going to be like the Apollo mission in 1970 with James Burke. Let's, via satellite, join Danielle, or at least her fingers. If you saw last month's edition, you may recall we ran 2 competitions. The first one we're going to draw this month was our FA Cup question. I showed you 2 teams with players' Christian names only and asked you to tell me what 2 teams were they and when was their FA Cup semi-final. Well, amazingly, I think 179 of you got the answer correct. Most of you stating that the Christian names of Leighton, for Leighton James of Burnley, and Ian for Ian McFall, the Newcastle goalkeeper, gave the game away, and you rightly suggested Burnley versus Newcastle FA Cup semi-final 1974. So, waiting with her random number generator on the other end of a FaceTime call are Danielle's fingers. Let's find out who our winner is. Right, modern technology being what it is, we have a live satellite connection with Danielle, who is hiding behind the phone to do our random number generator. So we had 165 entries for the FA Cup semi-final question. Danielle is going to push the magic number. Go! 154! Okay, first off, we're going to open our FA Cup competition. Number 1 is Matt Harrison. We have got to find 154. I'm going to have to count these one at a time, but I will speed them up when we look at them so we don't take up too much of the programme. Right, so I'm going to have to concentrate now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to Paul Thurston. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20... Richard Swift. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bob Tyler is number 154. So Bob Tyler wins. Hereford and Newcastle muddied up Topspin and the fantastic base decals. Well done, Bob. Our second competition, far more contemporary, was to name these 3 current goalkeepers. They are, of course, Fabianski, West Ham, Pope, Burnley, and McGregor of Glasgow Rangers. From memory, I think it was 74 of you sent in a correct answer. So back to Danielle's magic fingers. And now for our second competition, recognising the 3 goalkeepers. Is your finger at the ready, love?
It sure is.
Right, live, here we go. Hit the random button. Winner of competition 2 is number 45. Thank you for doing that from your sick bed. Hopefully, we'll see you in next month's edition.
Yes, please.
Thanks, Gorge. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Right. For our goalkeeping competition, the winner is number 45. Let's find the keeping competition. There he is. Okay, at the top there, we've got Sean Ellis. Let's get counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. To Phil Marsden. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. To Wilf Arnold. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, Amber Sienna, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, Lean Bush, and then 1, David Croucher, 2, 3, 4, 5, Stuart Talon wins the goalkeeping competition. Well done, Stuart. The 3 keepers from Bad Boy Boxes from Brian Andrew will be on their way to you. Congratulations. It's January. It's freezing cold. Where else would we want to be than at the beach? It is, of course, Subbuteo World's sandy pitch, or beach soccer as it is called, very timely with the Beach Soccer World Cup coming up this summer. It's a new Astro from Subbuteo World. Plays very well, as you can see. I've even put some Hank and the Shadows guitar music in the background. Well, my version of it, to give that summer holiday feel. The pitch really does play well. The players slide exceedingly well, as you can see for yourself. You get a true roll of the ball. There you go. Now this is a full-size pitch, so can use full-size goals. Lovely. Now clearly this style of pitch won't be to everybody's taste. It's a very specific style. But if it is something you'd like to play on, it really is a very nice flock, and it plays very well, and it is very attractive. It gives you the option of how you choose to play the rules, offering these 4 segments, just the centre line, 2 shooting lines, a penalty spot, centre spot. There's enough room for you to broaden however you'd like to play it. And with the Qatar World Cup coming up, it might be that everybody's playing on these sand dune pitches. But anyway, it's now available at Subbuteo World. I'm not absolutely sure as I speak what the price is, but it'll only take you a moment to type in subbuteoworld.co.uk and you can see for yourself. Right, enough pretending that it's a gorgeous hot summer on the beach. Let's get down to reality and reveal our brand new snowy winter pitch lit by SubbuteoStadium.com floodlights. A co-production between us at Table Football Monthly, Pegasus, the brand name for Subbuteo World, and it really is lovely to look at. Our same photorealistic design of pitch gives it a very real feel. Not too white, as snow that you're playing football in rarely is. The players slide really well. It's a medium fast pitch, but as slippy and slidey as you'd want it. We're very proud of this one. We've had a bit of practice now with the muddy pitch and the training pitch. And this is a lovely Astro. As you can see, it's not pinned down or glued down. This will lie flat straight out of the tube. As the designer and co-producer of this pitch, I'm not going to insult your intelligence on this program by giving you a whole load of sales spiel. If you like the pitch, you like it, and if you don't, you don't. But what I wanted to do was just share a technical fact with you. Those of you who are members of the Table Football Monthly Facebook group will have been part of this discussion over the last couple of weeks. Just recently, I had to make the sad decision not to proceed with producing the full-size muddy pitch Astro because of technical problems relating to getting the amount of print required onto an AstroTurf without ruining the flock. So many of you quite naturally have come to me and said, well, how come then you're not doing a full-size muddy pitch, but you've done a full-size snowy pitch? So I want to answer that question because a moment of genius has occurred. And I can say that because the genius involved wasn't me, sadly. Pete at Subbuteo World had the genius idea, fantastic idea. The PVC and Astro that everybody makes pitches on, be it Subbuteo World, be it Astrobase, Extreme and all the others, is that the Astro and the PVC is green. When you flip over your Astro pitch, the reverse is a shiny green. What Pete did when I showed him the artwork for this is he sourced white PVC and white flock. So what that meant is when it went to print, the only thing we were printing was the light brown and green to go on top of the white. Had we been printing the white on green, we'd have murdered the flock. And once again, I'd be telling you we can't produce the pitch. But because the Astro and the PVC base is already white, we haven't murdered anything. So this pitch is a great Astro. And it's opened a lot of possibilities going forward. So like I said, it's not a sales pitch. In fact, I was so unsure about talking to you about this that Smithy popped by on Saturday and we had a game, albeit all masked up, a whole pitch length apart, which is not the same as you already know, because I wanted to know what he thought. And we laughed ourselves silly because Subbuteo players, as a key part of the game since 1947, have slid. Having them slide on snow is just the best fun. We had a really good time. So as I said at the beginning, if this is your cup of tea, it's available now. Well, the first batch sold out actually, but it's not a limited edition. So as long as Pete's got stock, it'll keep coming back. So log on at subbuteoworld.co.uk, have a mooch about at the winter pitch. They will be back if the first batch have gone. I think they're around £72. And I'm going to leave the rest up to you. We don't like doing selling on this programme. Okay, it's time for a younger, less creased, less grey, slimmer version of me from about a year ago or just less. It was during one of the COVID lockdown editions that I managed to get hold of a game I'd been looking for ages. So instead of me rattling on about it, let's have a flashback and a look at Soccercraft. This game review is one that I never thought would happen. As I mentioned in the introduction to the programme, this is a game I've been looking for 4.5 years. And thanks to a simple exchange of emails with Paul Woosley at oldfootballgames.co.uk, I am now the proud owner of Soccercraft, created by Sportstime Products Limited and is, I believe, from 1968. When I first saw this game, which was this ad in one of the football magazines I bought, I had no idea how it was played, I had no idea how it worked. I just really liked the look of it. So I think we should get the lid off so we can all have a look what lies beneath the lid. A lovely and effective box lid, all the thrills of real soccer, dribbling, tackling, shooting and goalkeeping. And there we are. Now, of course, we have the ubiquitous blue and red teams, but these are different. The design is lovely. They're in a nice pose. The embossed numbers on the back are really good. They faded a little bit with time. We have two excellent looking goals with very nice scale netting and keepers on rods. We also get a pitch and the rules. And I cannot tell you how much I'm looking forward to laying this out on the table next to this one and having a little play with it. Let's go. Well, here it is, Soccercraft, fully laid out, and I have to admit right from the start, I'm rather excited. I love the way this game looks. Now, parts of this game will immediately be familiar. The pitch, very similar size to Subbuteo, maybe just a tad smaller, and the goals the same width and height as Subbuteo. The players, if I stand them alongside old Subbuteo heavyweights, are a good bit bigger, but suit the scale of the pitch. Now, before any of you write in and ask, the red Subbuteo player has been adapted to represent the 1958 Manchester United European Cup side, and the blue has been adapted to match the Leicester City 1961 Cup final side, but more of that later on. So back to the pitch, we'll recognise the keepers are on a rod, and the pitch is covered in a grid. Now the grid serves two purposes. Like Waddington's Table Football, the Tiddlywinks based game we've looked at, and Big League, which we showcased a few weeks ago, possession goes to the team nearest the ball. The grid certainly helps you make that decision. The second and more important reason for the grid, it is the way by which the players move around the pitch. So what I thought we'd do is we'll start slowly, demonstrate the rules before we get into a proper game. Basic operation of the game couldn't be simpler. Take the player between thumb and forefinger, approach the ball and kick it. So in this instance, Colin Harvey wants to play the ball out to his midfield teammate, Alan Ball. Bobby Charlton is not within one square of the player, so as long as it's accurate, we're in business. Had Bobby Charlton been closer, if an opposing player is one square away from the ball, then he can take possession. So whichever square Bobby Charlton is in, he can move in and intercept, giving possession to United. So you have to choose your passes quite carefully. Possession and movement in Soccercraft really couldn't be more straightforward. Here, Howard Kendall is on the ball for Everton. He has two choices. He can pass the ball or he can dribble. If he chooses to dribble, like Subbuteo, he can hit the ball 3 times before a colleague has to take over. If he passes the ball, he wants to pass to a player in space. Now, right now, he's quite well served. His fellow midfielder doesn't have a United player within a square of him. Here, the player is free, and so is the winger. Even the centre forward hasn't got a player within a square, and the winger. So every player we can see in blue is an option. That may look as if United's defence is in disarray, but actually they're quite well spread and ready to cover anything that occurs. So Kendall decides to dribble, and as long as the ball stays closer to him than an opponent, he's okay to do so. He has slightly changed his angle. So now both teams can move one player. United suddenly see the danger of Joe Royal up front. Joe moves forward to find more space. United decide they want him marked, so they bring back a midfielder so their defensive line remains intact. Kendall decides to pass to a teammate. Then the whole thing starts again. both teams can move one player, one square. So here, the midfielder moves into a good forward position. This puts the fullback in a real tiswas, because if he moves this way to cover the advancing midfielder, he leaves the winger free, and he moves wide, he leaves this chap in an awful lot of space. This is how you can use the grid and movement to create opportunities. It really does make for quite a tactical game. Normal offside rules do apply. Now here, Morrissey has the chance to put Royal through. Royal is just onside. That's the pass. Everton forego their opportunity to move an attacking player a square forward. United move Bill Fulks in to try and block. Royal puts the ball past the keeper. Now, had Smithy been here to hold that keeper, that would have been a fairly straightforward save. In this United attack, Bobby Charlton is screaming for the ball. Brian Kidd is just onside. That's the pass. On the far wing, George Best moves in one square. For Everton, John Hurst comes across to cover. Again, sadly, we have nobody holding the goalkeeper due to our isolation regulations. Charlton gives it a wallop. And what a glorious equaliser. For free kicks, defenders have to be 3 squares back. Each team can move 3 players any distance they like. So, United might move Dennis Law in and bring George Best in. Everton can cover. There's 1, 2, 3. Okay, and again, without Smithy to keep goal, if I can get this on target with Bobby Charlton, we might see United take a lead. Oh, hit the wall. Now that leads us nicely on to the next rule. If a player is knocked over in play by the ball, he is considered injured, which means he is taken off and can't come back onto the pitch until 4 moves have taken place. So for the time being, Everton are down to 10 men. Had we believed the ball had hit his hand, then it would have been a penalty. We'll get into playing the game properly in just a moment. But before we do, a message for Neil Franks. He wrote to me last week, I think it was, talking to me about the fencing and the different combinations I use. Regular viewers will know that on the Subbuteo Challenge I have alternate red and white fencing. Sometimes I've used the traditional green. Well, Neil, this time round we've got the Old Trafford fencing in red. And if you have a look at this picture here, you'll see the inspiration for the Subbuteo fencing and the red and white colour scheme. So I put it around the ground to add a bit of atmosphere in the absence of any terracing. The second thing is, partly to keep my imagination going and partly to give us a little bit of colour to this, because the game we're looking at came out in '68, I thought I'd look at the 1969-70 season to see when Manchester United and Everton actually met, and it happened on August the 13th, right at the start of the season. Now what was interesting about that is United, back in the May, had become the second British team to win the European Cup, beating Benfica 4-1. Nobody at that stage knew that the forthcoming season was going to be Matt Busby's last in charge of the team. For Everton, under Harry Catterick, they were developing nicely. Their midfield trio of Colin Harvey, Howard Kendall and Alan Ball were becoming a force to be reckoned with. In the young Joe Royle, Johnny Morrissey on the wing, they had real attacking potential. And at the back, with England's Brian LeBone and Tommy Wright and England cap goalkeeper Gordon West, they didn't look like conceding many goals. So this early game in August between United and Everton would give us a good idea of where the Division 1 title was going to go. So that's how we'll set up the game. Let's see how we get on. A wonderfully thought out game of skill and strategy and worth the wait. And to round the story off, this is how the 69-70 Division 1 table looked at the end of the season. How come I have aged so quickly in such a short time? The only thing in my life that's changed over the last year, oh yeah, is this. It must be you lot. Right, at least it gives me someone to blame. To this day, I maintain Soccercraft is one of my all-time favourite finds. I absolutely love it. Now, if I've gone and accidentally whetted your appetite to get your hands on a game of Soccercraft, then I have to tell you it is rare. And I don't mean rare like eBay, where even days of the week are becoming rare and highly sought after. No, this is rare in the real sense, for reasons I can't explain. Not all that many sets appear to have survived. So you're going to have to use your ingenuity to trawl the net, not just the auction sites, but other collectors, and see if they are selling. And one of the best sites to go to for that is oldfootballgames.co.uk. Paul Woosley there is very helpful and a fountain of knowledge. Now, in recent times, I have been inundated, and that's genuinely the right word, inundated with emails from people who've come back to the game after decades away. And the game they're now seeing bears no resemblance to the game they were playing 30, 40 years ago. And so the emails read, what's all this? Who are all these independents? What are these new player types? I'm used to heavyweights. I'm used to lightweights. Can you please make some sense of it? Well, the answer is no. Or rather, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the Subbuteo player types and the indies who've recreated the heavyweight, lightweight styles. And give you a chance to see what you like and what you don't like. I'm not somebody who does top 10s. I don't like seeing them because I always disagree with them and they make me fume. So I'm not going to stand here and list them as a 1 to 10 best to worst, because our tastes, our playing styles, our fingers will be different. But what I will do is I'll let you see them being tested. I'll use them in match play, and I'll give you technical info and then leave the rest up to you. If you have got any questions, you're welcome to get in touch after the feature. Always happy to yak on about Subbuteo. So here you have it. Go compare with Subbuteo player types. Let's start with our Image 2 bases, Rangers and Celtic. Beautifully painted. Great detail. Now, as you can see, the base is a good 1.5 centimetres wide, the flat area. So you'd expect these chaps to slide well. They weigh in at 2.19 grams. That's quite a chunky weight. A quick distraction for a moment, if you don't mind. When you take a look at our Celtic player on the Image 2 base, he seems to be standing in a real bucket of a base, particularly when you put a heavyweight next to him. But it's something of an optical illusion, and I'll show you why. If we take our man off the base, you'll see, and I'll just check that you've got this in shot, that it's one piece plastic, no weight, but the plastic is solid, giving it its weight. Here, alongside, is a heavyweight base. And when I put them together, you'll see they are pretty much the same height. It's a weird illusion. More so when you flip the heavyweight base on top of the Image 2 base. The circumference is probably only a millimetre difference. The weird illusion, let's put the Celtic player back in, the weird illusion is caused by the bottom of the bases. You'll see we have a centimetre and a half here with the Image 2. We have just under a centimetre on the heavyweight. That means that when it does come to creating the rake up the side of the base, this is steeper. Whereas this one, because it's only just under a centimetre, is spread over a larger area. It is therefore a softer curve. but it gives the illusion that one is significantly chunkier than the other. But it's not so, and that probably explains why their performance is very similar. Right, image 2 are going to go first with the sliding test. We like that, good from Rangers. I've done no practicing, so I'm going to do this test twice, treating the first as a way to get my eye in. So, attempt 2, Rangers again, not bad. If they're in the 3 and the 5, we're happy. Celtic next. Yeah, that's nice. Right, now let's just see how straight we can hit the ball with these different bases. Not complaining about that. A bit later on I'll talk to you about the diorama in the background and the Rangers player. Oh, we'll give that another go. That's more a reflection of the player than the player type. Ah, there we go. We can accept that. Right, shooting practice here. You'll see the holes are really small. Again, this is just to test the accuracy and the eye to player contact of hitting the ball. Rangers second. That hole slightly wider for him. Why did I say that? He hit the post. We'll give that another go. Come on. Pride of Glasgow at stake. No worries. Now, can they chip the ball? Celtic, come on. Straight through the middle. That's lifted quite easily. And Rangers. Perfect! Excellent performance from both. Right, for the spin test, we are putting the ball around 24 centimetres from the player. So it's quite a long spin. And we're not really bothered if the player's not hitting the ball. What we want to see is a good, oh, well, there we go, a good spin. Let's see if we can do that and keep him standing up. Lovely! And the reverse spin. And again, it's a good arc. We're not hitting the ball, but we're demonstrating the base can spin. Do you know what? It's worth one more. Here we go. Lovely! And this is just how far they can spin. Perfect! Here they are on an Astrobase pitch, AstroTurf FISTF approved pitch. And here's some one-touch passing. They do make a lovely noise when they hit the ball. I find it easy to measure passes like that. And a nice cut into the corner. And that lifted well. So all the things we were practicing on the training pitch, we're seeing in action here. Accuracy of the pass, flicking straight, chipping, spinning. And there we are, a pass that could lead to a goal. There's the spin. Again, a long ball coming up. It's falling a bit short, but the player behind him can get it. One touch. Slide in. Okay, a keeper would have saved that, but we're not really worried about goals. What we're looking at is how the players perform. And here we go, one touch passing, through ball. Goalkeeper in the right place. And this is just my collection to show that I actually do practice what I preach. Now, here are the Santiago bases. This company, one of the longest standing indies, been around since the turn of the century, I believe. So this is their take on the heavyweight, beautifully hand painted. That's Mexico away in case you're interested, and the Chelsea 1970 FA Cup replay kit. Now the bases, the flat area on the base is less than a centimetre, maybe 8 millimetres. Now I'm expecting them to be quite light. So let's have a look. 1.8, heavier than I thought they'd be. Okay, on the slide, again, first go just to get my eye in. Okay, both in the 3s, we'll accept that. Now we expect better this time. Here we go. Can't beat that, excellent, 5. Yeah, very good, sliding perfectly. Here we go with the putt, Mexico first. Straight in, not going to tempt fate with the second one. Here we go. Oh, that was unlucky. Definitely worth a third go. Here we go. Perfect. Okay, in the shoot. I do apologise for this camera angle. That's gone in. There we go. I changed it so we could see it properly. Perfect. And the chip. Had to give that a fair amount of power to get it in the air. Mexico. That went a bit higher. Now the spinning. What are they made of? Reverse spin first. Wow. Excellent. And the forward spin. Oh, that wasn't too bad. That might have been me. Let's go again. We clip the skittle there. Third go. Good. I prefer it if he stood up. Come on. This is no reflection on the player because he's spinning quite well. There we go. Excellent. Right, let's see these two in action. We're going to change teams for two Italian teams. And if you think I'm going to try and pronounce those. Now straight off, you'll recognise there is a lighter clunk when they connect with the ball. Beautiful spin though. And nicely finished. And this for me was a little off-putting when I first came across them. It's more of a clink than a thunk. But here you see, they're doing everything that the other player bases can do. It's probably psychosomatic, but I'm playing a shorter passing game with these bases. Okay, coming out from the back. You do have to change style slightly with these lighter players. But there we have a perfectly long ball. But they just need that extra bit of strength. Not too much. How about that? These are performing well, I have to say. And another nicely weighted pass. These are good value for money, Santiago. And a good finish. And there's a few of the teams that I have. Excellent. Right, our Zugo bases, Adilio Parodi of Italy. Now these, again, look quite chunky. The player moulds aren't exceedingly detailed. Factory painted. And again, a small flat area on the base that maybe just stretches to 1 centimetre at its widest. Let's throw them on the scales. All over 2. That's heavyweight country. Well, he slid a long way. That's better. Let's try and get them both in the 3 or 5 ring. Nicely done. Oh dear. Now I noticed all these Russian players were leaning back. You can see it yourself on this side shot. This is terrible. No point changing him, they're all the same. I'm going to get the hump in a minute. Come on. See, I don't want to accept that he can't. Oh, we'll accept that. Close enough. Right, Russia's going first on the putt. Oh well, he's made up for that. Good enough. Here comes the Doncaster Rovers man. Neat. Can they get it into our smaller goal here? So far so good. Let's move the ball out of the way. And here we go, shot 2. Very neat. Finally the chip. Wow. That just went beneath the crossbar. Good chip. Again, it needs a little bit of power to get the ball off the ground. And that's a nice looping one. Great. Reverse spin from Doncaster. Excellent. Now our leaning back Russian chap. Very close. He'll get it this time. There we go. And standing. Excellent. Right, we know now these players are muscular, and we also know the bases are heavy. And already we can see there's just that greater confidence of control, having that chunkier base. Again, would have been saved, but we're not worried about match play. Nice cut. What we're really looking at is seeing the players do their thing. need to give that one touch just to get in the shooting area. Job done. Nice, that's a proper finish. And again, weighted passes. They give you confidence, heavy bases. Excellent. Oh, I must be feeling confident. I just moved the goalkeeper. Nice again. They're good bases, these Zugo bases. I think the moulds on the players aren't that good, but they're good enough. And a nice paint job. Performing brilliantly here. Oh, neatly done. As you can see, I have quite a big collection of Zugo teams. A big fan. The lightweights. Who among us hasn't had a game with these at some stage? Vancouver Whitecaps on the left. Beautiful print job. And hand-painted West Brom away on the right. Right, these figures are very familiar. And you'll see, again, a very small flat area on the base. Under a centimetre, struggling even to make 8mm. Very small indeed. Right, onto the scales. Wow, that is light. West Brom on the slide, very nicely done. Vancouver Whitecaps outside the 3 and 5. Second go, just when I get used to them, still on the outside. Come on. Uh-oh. This time, beautiful. On the putt, West Brom first. No problems with that. Expect the lightweights to be quite accurate. I've used these for a few years. Vancouver, easy. Right, on the shooting range, small hole there on the side. Goes in no problem. And you can see here, the hole is hardly bigger than the ball. Whoops. Was close though, we'll give him the second opportunity. Look how small that hole is, come on. Better. Good chip, just under the bar, excellent. Again with these kind of bases, a fair amount of power. And that was high as well. Reverse spin for West Brom, piece of cake. Vancouver Whitecaps now coming over for the forward spin. Same again, excellent from the lightweights. Again, that lighter clunk when the player makes contact with the ball. Nice finish though. Good spin. Yes. The most important thing with the player type is that as you approach the ball, you want to feel confident that it's going to do what you want it to do. Now part of that is down to you as a player, but here we have dribbled and had the ball all the way under control. And that is the sign of a good base. Another controlled pass. If you're unsure before you flick a player, you're more likely to make a mistake. Confidence is key. Unlucky. Good all-round performance. And I have a few lightweight teams. Many of them originally bought in the 80s, some with their price tag still on them. £3.59, I think that one. Right, Hasbro. These were the bases that were the transitional moment between traditional Subbuteo bases and the flat sliding players of Fistfa competitions of the 90s and onwards. It's a one-piece base with no weight in it. So here we have Newcastle away and a flat base area of 1.5 centimetres, just as the Image 2 players at the start of this segment. And a weight of 1.9, good weight. Now they should slide beautifully, no excuse, with a 1.5 centimetre flat base bottom. We like that. Can we improve on it? The answer would be yes. Can we do it twice? Ooh, a little stumble. That's probably me again. Lovely. We'll accept that. On the putt, I'd be surprised to see a miss. These are good bases. I really do rate them. Not a big fan of the player types, but I like the bases. Oh, just wide. The lightweight pegs are a little bit long for these bases, so they need trimming if they're going to sit nicely. Very good. We're going to count that because I think I'm going to pop that ball out. It's the little things. These should chip easy as you like. There we go. And you can see he's still in shot, didn't have to flick him that hard. Easy. As you'd expect. Spinning not so good? Well, of course it is. Reverse spin, first time. Forward spin. Can't argue. Excellent performance. Let's see them on the table. Okay, we've got England and Brazil in front of us. Ooh, nice shot. Off the post. Beautifully controlled pass. These are good bases. Here come Brazil. Perfectly measured. Perfect length again. Okay, here we have a move. Lovely slide from the fullback. It's just confidence. That's all you want. These players do give good confidence. Get that backspin off the post. Another good ball. It's funny, I'm a big fan. Look at that slide. They're not among my favourite bases, and I don't know why that is. It's got nothing to do with quality. Look at that. Maybe I'm just an old traditionalist. They're doing everything supremely well. Another post. See there, good spin, laid it off, bang. Good performance, and you'll find these players in the Premier League boxes, Premier League box sets, and the France 98. Right, our friends from Topspin, Uruguay on the left, Scotland on the right. Hand painted, these by Paul Lloyd. Lovely. I think the base here just about makes a centimetre at its widest point. 1.7, you'd expect them to be lighter than the Hasbro players. Here we go with the slide. Lovely. I've become a big fan of Topspin. That's a very good first attempt. Let's hope I haven't jinxed it. Scotland to go next. Oh, even better. Come on, can we double that up? Yes. Perfect. Okay, let's try the putting. Scotland are going first. Giving you a different angle just to keep it interesting. Thought that was going to spin wide. Good start, Uruguay. Just wide. Now these bases are weighted. They're more like heavyweights. You do need to get used to them if you decide to go down the road of buying them. They're not as heavy as the heavyweight. Heavier than the lightweight. So they're a perfect intermediate if you like. No problem there. Nice looping chip. Again, using a fair bit of power. Oops, touched him there. Go again. Very nice. Forward spin. Thank you. Reverse spin. Come on, Scotland. Perfect. So, Uruguay versus Scotland. Let's have a look how they perform. And again, see how well balanced the ball is. It's just perfectly measured and not too difficult to do. And a nice finish. These are the bases that for me are most like the original heavyweights. As you can see here, a little bit of control and we've set up a goal scoring chance. The thing I like about these players is they make me think of movement shapes because, oh, nice finish, because I believe they're going to do what I want. Nice spin, good finish again. Uruguay showing the spin as well. It's a lovely cut. They really do perform well. Look good, play well. I would recommend these. Look at that. Collected a few Topspin over the years. These are the ones in their own boxes. Right, Charles Stadden's heavyweights from 1967. Hearts on the left, Partick on the right. These would of course been painted by hand, and again we don't quite make a centimetre on the flat part of the base. Weight, ooh, 2.09. Not the heaviest. Good on the slide. I should do okay with these. These are the player types I use most. Nice. Good enough. On the putt, I'll be annoyed if I miss it. Oh, thank you. And here we go again. Fingers crossed. Come on. Oh. Now the shot. That's a good ball-sized gap. Straight in. And again, sorry for this angle. I didn't change the camera this time. But, oh, Hearts didn't quite get it in. Second attempt. He's given himself a bigger gap, and I've just closed it. Brilliant. Come on. Maybe not so hard. Oh, well. Went in. That's the important thing. The chip test. Very nice. These, again, do need power to get the kind of lifts we're looking for. Great. Reverse spin. Got it first time. Up to Partick Thistle for the forward spin. Easy. Okay. Heavyweights in match play. Now, I'm using Chelsea and Southampton here because they just happen to be on the table. So this is Southampton approaching us. Now that attack has fallen through, but my confidence is such. Play it backwards, start again, and I fully expect to be able to make my passes. One touch in, and then a nice slide. Bottom corner. Okay, one touch to steady, get the angle, play. One touch, play. Same again, one touch, play. They stopped making these bases in around 77 and they were replaced by the zombies. As Subbuteo were looking to make their painting mechanical. That's a lovely spin. And it's a pity. These are well-balanced players and they perform really well. And I've got quite a collection of those. Right, I suddenly realised that I'd given my Astrobase players away in one of our competitions. So, you can see them here. The red and white sleeves next door to a Subbuteo moulded figure. These have got a very small flat area on the base. And this film is from a demo I made last year. So these are both Astrobase teams. And you'll see they actually perform really well, even though they are quite light. I'm using the Zugo ball that came with the set in this test. It was one of those days that everything I tried worked. Again, the players are not highly detailed as far as the mould goes. But they do perform well. Look at that, right into his path. I can't remember if I scored here or not. Even better. Zugo goals, of course, you might recognise those. Nice spin again. So they do everything you want. With a bit of power. A recent and sexy trend in Subbuteo has been the evolution of hand-painted, bespoke, painted and decaled teams, and they're very popular and look exceedingly groovy. The same has been happening with footballs, primarily topspin footballs. Now, one of the issues when you apply really detailed decals to a football is that you may affect its straight roll, which is no good. That means it's simply for display. You can't use it. Well, I like to use them. And the chap I've relied on for that for the last couple of years has been a gentleman called David Thornley, who trades on eBay. Here are a batch of his balls that I've collected. They are stunning. Each and every one of them rolls true. They are great fun to play with, and they look, I hope you'll agree, stunning. You'll see a couple of them are quite worn out. They have been used here so much. Well, David has kindly donated 3 of his decal balls for this month's competition. So I've got to do a ball related question, and I've got one. Although a few of you are going to sit there like this, he's asking about old football again. Well, I'm afraid I am, but it was the only ball question I could think of. But I'm sure those of you who are only just in your teens will be able to research this on Google. Jeff Hurst, of course, scored a hat-trick in the 1966 World Cup final, and a genuine hat-trick at that. Right foot, left foot header. Let's not forget that. It was a marvellous moment in British football, particularly English football, I probably should say, with a lot of Scots saying that wasn't the proper World Cup. But anyway, he scored a hat-trick, still the only man to do so. Now, he got his World Cup medal, he got to hold the Jules Rimet trophy. The one thing he didn't get was the match ball. Not until decades later, when it was returned to him by a certain gentleman. So this month's competition question is, who returned the match ball to Jeff Hurst, having held it in his own collection for decades? Who returned the 1966 World Cup final ball to hat-trick hero Jeff Hurst, decades after he'd scored the hat-trick? Send the answers in by February the 20th, if you would be so kind. Send your answers, please, to the usual address. I know I say this every time, but people still forget. Please don't put your answers in the comment section underneath the video. I have to delete them and they won't be included. Also, those of you on the Table Football Monthly Facebook group, please don't discuss the competition or put the answer on the group. All it does is encourage more entries, which reduce everybody else's chance of winning. So I hope you enter. It should be a laugh. If you need to have the question repeated, just hit the rewind button, because I don't think I could word it again. So enter by February the 20th. Good luck. I have just noticed we have already reached 54 minutes, and I'm afraid we are not going to have time to do justice to the feature I was planning on making use of other pitches when you're short of table space. I don't want to rush it, so what I'll do, same as with the floodlights, is I will do a special edition in the next few days. In fact, I'll combine the two into a smaller pitch and floodlight special. So I am sorry about that. I'll get on with it later in the week, but otherwise this particular edition is just going to go on for too long. In my defense, I've had this whole host of different game pitches I was going to use to see which would be perfect when you're looking for a smaller pitch. So I'll leave them all here and I will get them laid out in the next few days. Well, that just about wraps it up for this month's edition of Table Football Monthly. I'm sorry I couldn't squeeze in the floodlight segment. I just ran out of time, but I will do a special in the next few days. Now, through these dark and dreary COVID times, if there are some of you who would like a dose of Table Football Monthly between editions, you are very welcome to come and join our Facebook Table Football Monthly group. With 1,700 members, I honestly can't tell you just how broad the range of historical knowledge, current knowledge, advice, technical know-how, tips on how to fix players, paint players, rebuild players. There are a lot of very clever people on the site and it's great fun. It does make me laugh a lot. So if you want to come along and meet all the other 1,700 of us, then merely type Table Football Monthly into Facebook and we will see you there. Now, if that isn't your cup of tea and just over a year ago. It certainly wasn't mine. But if that isn't your cup of tea, then you're very welcome to get in touch by email at the usual address. Now that does come directly to me, but please be patient because this isn't my day job. And we do get quite a few, but I do try and plough through them all. Well, that's just about it. I hope you are managing and keeping your heads above water. Do take care of yourselves and your loved ones. We're all in this together, but hopefully not for much longer. See you next month.